Hello, hello. Welcome to Astro Breeze's weekly transits, our weekly astrological weather. So, wow, this is going to be an interesting change. Let's give you a picture to look at for a second. We have definitely a new flavor happening. We have a difference in a lot of difference in signs this week. And then the biggest player, well, we've got quite a few things. I'll give you the overview. We'll get started. So we have the sun just moved into Gemini. First thing, yesterday, we'll look over at the charts. We have a full moon this week and have it in Sagittarius, so it'll be opposite Gemini. And then we have probably the biggest thing now is Jupiter moving into Gemini on Saturday. So we have the big planet, and I'll dive into this a little bit more when we get into it, but we've got the big planet moving into a busy sign. And it's an interesting placement because the ruler of Jupiter is Sagittarius, and that is opposite of where it's going to be in Gemini. So that will be kind of interesting, but I personally think of all the opposites and signs, those two are kind of the more similar ones. It's just a matter of perspective. One is looking more inner, one is looking more outer. Gemini is looking more inner or closer, and Jupiter in Sagittarius or Jupiter itself, the ruler of Sagittarius, the ruler of Jupiter, is more broad-minded. Let's look over there. The grass is greener, shiny object syndrome, but it's also higher knowledge too. All right, so we'll get into that. Let's just go start at the charts. Go get the animated chart for you. There it is. All right, here we go. I did yesterday, and I wanted to back it up to when the sun just moved into Gemini. And you can see it up here. It was East Coast time. I set it for Philadelphia. Just kind of an interesting place. Anyways, 9:30, almost 9:30 in the morning, sun moved into Gemini. So we got a different flavor starting to happen. And you can see here, this lineup is quickly going to change. Look at Jupiter right at the end here, which I just gave you the heads up. And we have Gemini about ready to change. So just at the end of this week, we're going to have quite a shift of energy. So we're going from all this security-oriented, down-to-earth, practical, earthy, sensual, Taurian energy to busy Gemini. Woo! Okay, so this was yesterday, and I just wanted you to see that. So let's go to today. And we can see here, things are starting to, we already talked about things are starting to spread out, but we're going to look at our moon. We're going to start with our moon this week because we have, the 4 signs pretty much of each week, depending on how it rolls, if it starts in the beginning of a sign, 3 to 4 signs every week. But anyway, we are going to start this week with our Scorpio moon. So here we are at Tuesday. It was a little earlier that we went into our Scorpio moon, and the moon it's not its favorite place, the moon in Scorpio. The moon is in its fall, which is opposite of its exaltation, where it's an honored guest, and then the opposite place that it's the honored guest is the unhonored guest, or the fall. It's just like in a funky place. So interesting thing though, the moon is at home in Cancer, right? And it's a water sign. So it's interesting that it's in its fall in a water sign, but it's just that it's the opposite, if it's in Cancer, I'm sorry, it's exalted in, what am I talking about? It's exalted in Taurus. Its home is in Cancer, opposite of Capricorn, which we'll get later this week. But it's exalted, the moon loves, if it's not loving to be in Cancer, it loves to be in Taurus. So opposite of Taurus is Scorpio, and that's where we're beginning our week. So in the exalted sign of Taurus, the moon is secure and happy and just luxuriating and feeling comfortable. When it's in Scorpio, it's under the microscope. It is being looked at, it's investigated, it's kind of out, you know. It's like the feelings, because it's again in a water sign, they're going deeper and investigating, and it's like, well, how do you feel? What do you think about that? What should we do about that? Let's look, investigate it. It's like, oh, my moon is like, whoa, 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 I gotta slow down here, chill, chill. So it's kind of a funky place. So, we start our week kind of, because I do this on Tuesday, so it was later yesterday, depending on where you were in the world, and this morning, but the moon is there. And the moon is in a sign for, as you know, 2.5 days. So we start this week with that. Okay, let's move on. So tomorrow, because we kind of have a kind of a moon day, today, a lot of moon energy aspects, but because it's cross, because you're going to see it's going to, first of all, it would be, when it's earlier, it was opposing Mercury, right? When it was like at 9 degrees, if I went back, like today, like right now, here we go, early this morning. Yeah, see, it's the opposite Mercury. So we have that moon in communications, maybe depth of communications, maybe getting to the heart of the matter, maybe digging deep, maybe investigating, maybe seeing what really makes you emotionally secure. And then as the day goes on, it moves on, and until tomorrow morning, let me just make it go a little bit more, so it's more like noon. There we go. Okay, so tomorrow midday, we can see that the moon now is starting to square. It's going to go through and oppose all of the other planets here in Taurus. So it's going to, first of all, oppose Uranus. So there might be some surprising developments, some deep investigation, some feelings, getting to the bottom of something. Maybe something suddenly turns up. Maybe information suddenly comes out. And then the moon will then oppose Venus. So we'll have to put that through the feelings, right? It's going to be, it's like, well, those secure feelings, and what's at the bottom of it? Why do you need to do that? Why is it that way? So we have Venus in her lovely place to be when she's, it's like, oh yes, I get to be in Taurus here. And then there's the moon, kind of opposing, going, help, 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 you can't be uncomfortable because I'm over here in the spotlight. Venus is like, oh God. Anyway, and then as it goes, right at the end, it will go over 29 degrees and oppose Jupiter. So maybe some big developments. Oppositions aren't as bad as squares. They're sometimes revealing, sometimes balancing, sometimes getting to see the other side of something, which is, balancing. But it gives you sometimes the opportunity to see the other side. And then the moon will go into Sagittarius, and then it will form, you can see it'll then form the opposition with the sun. All right, anything else here on Wednesday? Oh, of course, whenever, we have to just think, whenever anything enters a new sign, it's going to make some kind of aspect over to Pluto, because we have that at the early degrees, hanging out there at 2 degrees Aquarius. So we can see that it'll make a trine. We go air sign, sun in Gemini, air, and then we know that Pluto in Aquarius is air, so air to air. So that's nice. And one thing interesting about, we call, when the sign moves into a new place, it's an ingress, okay? So it's ingressing into the new sign, and the first aspect pretty much that the sun makes is a trine to Pluto, which I think is very, very interesting, because last year when we had Jupiter moving into Taurus, I can't remember the exact aspect, but it wasn't a harmonious one. It was, I think, a square to something. I think Pluto was still in Capricorn, and it made a square there to Pluto. And this year it's making a trine. So that kind of gives you a little premonition of things to come. Although this is going to be a rough year on a lot of levels. This little bit of breeziness, this little bit of air, and the trine to Pluto, I think the information that might be revealed will be in the favor of people, in the populace's favor. So that is it's a good foreshadow, let me put it that way. Good foreshadow of, of the year to come. So, okay, that being said, anything else I wanted to say on Wednesday? No, that's good. All right, coming into Thursday, coming into some big days as we near the end of the week. And then I want to get into a little bit about the moons. Actually, I'll do it right now. So, the moon in Scorpio, where it just came from, I'm just going to leave it here. I wanted to get you this. Scorpio is very intense. And when the moon is here, it feels like everything is just intense. It's to the nth degree. It's just right there in your face. And anything that you have that's at that degree, it's going to be worse than those of you that don't have anything at that degree. Okay, so needless to say, anything, passion, joy, betrayal, love, jealousy, desire, can take the center stage during this time. And again, if it's something that is right on that degree hitting on you. Or we can look to world events as well. So, what I want to tell you here. Oh, so just be careful, as your emotions deepen during this couple days here, it gets to the point of obsessing. So really watch obsessing on things, and just realize if you are that the moon will change near the end of the week. But be careful of also tendency to be secretive or suspicious. A lot of that stuff comes up when the moon is in Scorpio. And then also to brood, to brood over something you did that wasn't intended or somebody did to you, whatever. So just watch that. And then when it moves into Sag, I think this is one of my favorite moon placements. It's optimistic. It's willing to go, let go of things. It's being ruled by Jupiter. It's kind of like the moon. To me, it's it kind of helps the feeling with getting acquainted with the higher mind, to envision something beyond, to feel that way, to get inspired about something philosophical, I don't want to say religious, maybe more spiritual in nature. So when the moon's here, it's we want to be outside, spontaneous. We want to laugh real loud. We want to, just be more happy, jovial, be our Santa Claus self. So we just gotta kind of watch overdoing things. So that's the overdoing moon, but it's also the fun moon. And then the moon will move into Capricorn. So it's if you're just getting out of line, it will snap you back to responsibility, because that's what Capricorn's all about. And we go to the moon, when it's here, the moon is in its detriment. So it's opposite of where its home is. Its home is in Cancer. So opposite of Cancer is Capricorn. So that's its detriment. So it's So what does that mean? It brings out making the moon, we're making us feel more practical, more business-like, more business-oriented, more dutiful, more cautious, more responsible, and could be pessimistic as well. So watch that. We could act, more toward our family or business. We could take charge of something. We could organize part of our lives that has become a little disrupted or scattered, which is always good to do coming into Gemini things. Yeah. And then with the end of the week, the moon will dip into Aquarius, and then we'll be back. But that brings the rebel out in us. It's screw this, man. I tried to do this. I tried it, and it's not working, so F it, kind of a moon. Watch that, because it can be that way. It's the time of month that we get, to break out of our rut also, to try something different, to make sure everyone sees us for our unique individuality. The sign is ruled by, I like to think it's ruled by Saturn, but it's also got a dual rulership by Aquarius or Uranus, which is going through some aspects. So we might have that little unpredictableness in this at the end of the week. Our schedules can be out of whack, a little upside down. We could be fanatical or act deliberately rebellious about something. Or we might want to break tradition just for the sake of breaking tradition. Okay, so that is our moon weather through the week. And it's in that higher octave. We start out Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then we'll round out the end and start the beginning next week. We can go back to we'll be in an Aries moon. Okay, so Thursday. So then we have our full moon. It's not totally lined up here. I'm not going to bore you with that, but we have it at 2 degrees Sagittarius, a full moon, and it's going to be a lively day. We also have, let's see, the moon being full here, it's like we're reaping all those benefits before we start changing on. It's like this is the fullness we're looking, and it's in a fire sign, so it's good to be active about something. But what's interesting, there's a lot of cool Venus aspects here. Look, we've got Venus at the end. Oh, look at both of them here. We got Venus conjunct Jupiter at the end of Taurus, and it's sextiling over here to Neptune. So what the heck is that? That is kind of cool. So the benefics are all kind of in a real nice alignment. This is really good. You know, before they change signs, they're like having a nice little powwow, getting some inspiration from Neptune. This is just really nice. It's, you know, half of a trine. It's in that earth and water, feminine, nurturing part of the zodiac. And Venus being right there by Jupiter, this could be a really good time for seeding the universe with your needs, with what makes you stable on a big way before that energy changes. It's like saying a prayer of stability, of home, of security, before it changes into wahoo. You know, it's like putting that root down, making sure the root is there before stuff starts, tying down the masts, you know, before things happen. Okay, so that's kind of what that energy is all about, and it's a good energy. It's a real nice energy. And then we'll see Venus move into Gemini, and then we already said those two are in aspect too. So that's going to be a kind of a nice day, I think, on Thursday. Take advantage of it. Moon's in happy sign. You know, it's just a good kind of a good chart, good day. All right, now we go into Friday, and we still have the main energy is our moon moving through Sag. You know, it touches off on some things, but it's just that energy of that, not a big day after the day before. It's kind of a little rest. And then on Saturday, we've got Venus moving into Gemini along with the sun. Sun's been there. But then now we see it's at 2 degrees, so we know it's going to be making that trine over to Pluto. Another good thing. So there's like with this stuff with the sun over to Pluto and with Venus over to Pluto and soon with Jupiter over to Pluto, I think there's some energy that is the tipping scale of things are going to come out. There's a lot of things going to be revealed. A lot of information's coming out, and it's going to be unstoppable. It's like a 2-year-old, you know. It's like less than a straitjacket. A 2-year-old is very difficult to contain, right? Sometimes, you know, they're everywhere. So we've got the 2-year-old energy kind of coming out. And then I'll get to my main part in just a minute. Okay, so here we are on like either late Saturday or Sunday. Where do I want to begin? Let's just go with Jupiter here. So here's kind of the big day. Sunday, you know, Sunday or Monday, we've got actually it could be late Saturday because this is noon. It just depends on what part of the world. So late Saturday afternoon, Sunday, we have Moon moving into Gemini. So this is a big deal. You know, this is the Moon. What am I saying? Jupiter moving into Gemini. Sorry, I'm looking at another note. Jupiter moving into Gemini. So we know that Jupiter is in a sign for about a year, and it will be here for this next year. From now, it's like 12 months. You know, it goes through. It takes a year to go through a whole sign, more or less. So in the last 12 months, Jupiter was in Taurus. Jupiter's ingress into Gemini will be quite a noticeable shift because we're going from, you know, Jupiter. Well, see, note that Jupiter was in Gemini, or will be in Gemini. Well, let's go to the last one. That's what I wrote for you. Note the last time Jupiter was in Gemini was June 11th, 2012. So again, it's like hitting the half-year mark. You know, so it's a little earlier now, but so June, then we had all the rest of 2012, and then half of 2013, you know, until like June 25th. So think back to that time, June 2012 to June 2013. What was going on in your life? That was a year that happened. And do I have the other time? The time before that was June 2000 to July 2001. So think about those times. All right. What else do I want to tell you about that? I think that was it. So Gemini is very different from Taurus. So, Jupiter in Gemini will bring a very, very different energy compared to Jupiter in Taurus. It's like the opposite, we going from being stuck and solid and secure to, I don't want to be secure. I want to run around. I need information. I need air. Ah. So Taurus is all about stability, and preserving the status quo. Gemini is all about movement and change. So when Jupiter under Gemini, our focus and priorities will dramatically change. I mean, we can start seeing it already. So by the end of the week, here by the 26th, look, we got this flavor. How 3 of these planets will have gone there, and then Mercury is quick on its heels there. So Gemini, let's see, there'll be less concerns with resources and safety. There'll be more focus on connecting, on learning, on moving forward, on information. Gemini is an outgoing communicative sign. So Jupiter thrives in social environments and values networking and exchanging ideas. With Jupiter here, we're going to expect a boom in information, a boom in communication, networking, mobility, and social activities. Immediately after moving into Gemini, Jupiter forms an auspicious trine with Pluto in Aquarius, bringing the best out of the 2 energies. That's what I was starting to allude to here. So with Jupiter trine Pluto, the spreading of information can no longer be stopped. So we have big Jupiter and trining and good conversation with Pluto. So Pluto is feeding, the depths of information there in a big level. So, it flipped back to 1 degree. It was 2, and it went back to 1. So it's like even earlier. So with Jupiter trine Pluto, that information, it's no longer going to be stopped. The genie's out of the bottle. So Jupiter and Pluto give us confidence to expose the truth and speak openly about what matters. I think we're going to hear a lot of this, especially on social media. And Gemini thrives on specifics and intricacies. Oh yeah. Jupiter's energy, on the other hand, is holistic, big pictured, focused on intuition. If Jupiter is the forest, I like this. Gemini is the trees. Okay, if Jupiter is the forest, the big picture, the whole forest. Gemini is the individual trees. Okay, it focuses on closer up. So too much Gemini, we can't see the forest for the trees. Missing the broader perspective. We're too focused on, hyper focused Gemini. And too much Jupiter, we overlook the trees in front of our eyes, getting lost in the abstract concepts and miss the obvious. So that's going to be just a little back and forthness of that, Jupiter and Gemini. So Jupiter has an expansive influence. It's just like a magnifying glass, right? Jupiter magnifies and enlarges everything it touches. It makes things bigger. Jupiter and Gemini will bring a lot of Gemini. A lot with Jupiter, and it's in Gemini. So Jupiter and Gemini is like Gemini on steroids. You can think of it like some archetypal Gemini friend that you have. Now imagine your friend multiplied by 1,000 or 10,000. Imagine a full stadium of Geminis. That is Jupiter in Gemini. So as soon as Jupiter enters Gemini, it trines Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius. So this positive influence that will boost innovation, forward thinking, initiatives in the realm of data, information, and knowledge. In the second half of the year, Jupiter will square Saturn. So some of the initiatives implemented at the beginning of this transit might hit a brick wall. Saturn. Feasibility might come into question. Some overlooked elements may need to be readdressed, restructured, adjusted to create something that actually works and it's fit for purpose. So I think this is a good thing because it can get out of hand. With this energy, it can definitely be like a garden unpruned. So I think when it, put things in place and just remember that you can trim back the garden, uproot stuff, get rid of things that aren't working later. But don't hang on to it so tight. We'll return to this when it actually happens. So just look at that. Okay, one thing I want to mention, Google's AI, the search, whatever you call this, the new AI thing for Google, its name is Gemini. Gemini AI. I use really? So here I get this quote. Here's an example here. Okay, so it's AI model called Gemini. It's focused, Gemini's AI is focused on massive Jupiter data, right? Massive, which is Jupiter big, data, Gemini, processing. So quite literal for Jupiter in Gemini, right? On May 14th, this is a few days ago or last week, Google released the latest version of Gemini AI, stating that the company was now pushing the boundaries, how Jupiter is that, right? Of how much personal or business information it was able to pass on to Gemini AI for every query. Interesting. I was looking at Brighteon, Mike Adams, Health Ranger. He started that whole network, but they are interfacing their AI. The thing is, you need the AI. What I've learned from some professors of cybersecurity, you have to create your own AI and feed it information that you know is true, because that's going to be your firewall against a lot of the AI programmed with garbage, right? Garbage in, garbage out. Okay, for example, Gemini AI can watch live videos from a user's phone and offer detailed explanation of what's in the video. It can tell the user where it last saw their glasses, or offer other personalized contextual insights. So this is going to be really kind of breaching different parts of security, right? We're not in Taurus anymore. No more security. So if Gemini's AI is not direct archetypal expression of Jupiter and Gemini, then I really don't know what is. With Jupiter and Gemini, we can also expect social dynamics might change. Alliances formed on the basis of geographical proximity rather than economic interests may be more prominent, because it's, more local, being in Gemini, not so broad, being in like Sagittarius. Being neighbors becomes more important than culture, religion, or traditional business ties. Groups can have a dual agenda, Gemini, right? So group members may be more willing to voice diverse opinions, even if this initially disrupts the status quo. Gemini. However, through open, transparent communications, one can find a way to move forward. Jupiter in Gemini. Okay, then we want to look at where is Gemini in your chart, and that's where we're going to see Jupiter. So let's just pretend this is your chart. So this person would have Gemini starting in their 10th house, right up here. So we can see it's their midheaven would be 26 Taurus, and then it would quickly go into Gemini. If we're using, using Placidus here. So this person would be mostly their 10th house. So that would be so this person, it would affect more of their business, their social standing, how people would see them in the world. That's the 10th house. So look in your chart to see where this is going to be moving for this next year. Jupiter will bring your awareness and magnify the themes connected to the house or houses that it transits. It may not be as neat as this one. It may cross 2 houses. It may be in there now. It might be ending in Taurus and starting in there. The Gemini house in your chart will reveal more about the area of life that it will be under Jupiter's influence. And of course, there's the generic Jupiter and Gemini influence that will impact everyone. So 12 months from now, everybody's interests are going to be more learning, communication, conversation, and that's going to be the big theme of that for this year. All right. And then Monday, so did I tell you about everything here? I think we talked about that. And then, we've got that responsible moon, and we can see here, it's still like noon 30 on Monday, East Coast time. It's still not quite out of there, but by the time kind of quitting time, it will start to move into the next sign, and moon will cross over Pluto also. So Monday, later, even on the other coast, it should be, definitely, but even east, UK and stuff, it should still be moving over Pluto, if not Tuesday morning. So moon over Pluto, more things like, coming out Monday that might be revealed, truths, different, or feelings of depths, or looking, feeling the depth of something, maybe sensing truths. All right, so that was quite a bit. Which brings us back over here. We'll meet up here next week, and we can see the moon is going to round out and then cross over. It'll be conjuncting. Is that a word? Conjuncting most of these planets rather than making aspects to them. All right, so that is our week. It's going to be interesting. The energy's definitely going to be picked up different, sped up. So tie down all those little security things for the next few days. It's the 25th that we kind of change on that. We got a few days, 21st. So we got 4 days to kind of tie that up and get ready to move into communication land. All right. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Bye for now.